What's ripening YouTube? So I want to say thank you first of all. The last video got a lot of good response, and I appreciate you guys letting me know. As you know, if you've been watching this channel for a while, that I kind of come and go, mostly because I have other things going on. But usually when I start back up, it's because someone encouraged me. Someone said something either in person or on the internet and said, "Hey man, we missed your videos." So it does mean something when you guys do interact with me, and I appreciate it. And it encourages me to share more with you guys. So I think today what I'm going to do is tell you a little bit more about the front grove that I've been discussing over the last video or so, and help you understand the context of this particular area. So we're working through now, cleaning it out. As you can see, you can kind of see the remnants of these old mounds. And here's the last line that we haven't cleaned out yet. What you're looking at is the aftermath of a hurricane. So most of everything in this grove was pushed over, like just completely flat. And you know, the most valuable items we've tied up, that's in this case the dwarf Fijian coconuts. That's really my long-term project up here. But when I originally planted this grove, this was the first grove that I planted on this property. And I planted a whole collection of species, and I didn't know what was going to grow here. So this was like my trial zone. And what I ended up with over the long term was a legacy of como si, como sa, you know, like some of the fruit trees are doing fine, some of them were doing okay, some of them were just never growing. And the hurricane, when it flattened everything, it kind of gave me the opportunity to make some decisions to restart. The other thing that's happened after the hurricane is that we had an extended period of flooding on the property. So one of my undercrops in here was pineapples. I had, I don't know, probably 1,000 or maybe probably more than 1,000 pineapples growing in here. And because we had such prolonged standing water, a lot of them died. And so what I'm doing now, like this bed's doing okay. What I've done is consolidated the remaining pineapples into my banana lines. So I'll show you real quick. Sorry about the camera work. This is just on the phone. But you'll see I've got my pineapples consolidated in here. See if you can see that. But what we're doing now that we've got these big mounds raked down, the main trees are out. We've cleaned it out. I put it in order for some composted wood chips. It should be delivered sometime the end of the week. We're gonna make that midline a new bed. I'm gonna plant on where the old mounds were, I'm gonna plant grafted mango trees. And then in between the mango tree and the coconut is gonna be dwarf bananas. And then we're gonna have a consortium of other seeds that are gonna go in that are gonna cover the ground, occupy the space, and give us a little bit of a placenta. The placenta is a term used in syntropic agroforestry, which is talking about the beginning of life. You know, if you think about what the placenta is, it's the part of the womb that nurtures the baby while it's developing. So we're kind of developing a new system here. In this case, we do have some existing elements, and those are going to be nurtured in the same way. But we're really kind of just refocusing our efforts. Now that I've had this trial planting here for long enough, I've learned my lessons that I wanted to learn. This was also a zone where I trialed, I don't know, a dozen types of bananas. We whittled that down. Now we have, I've learned over the years that tall bananas are just not the best idea for Florida. As much as I love them and I would love to grow them, I do better with dwarf bananas just because they don't get knocked over in the wind. We have these tropical storms. They can come kind of at any time and they can knock us out. So I'm using dwarf bananas. In this case, these are dwarf Namois. I've got a new planting of dwarf Orinoco, and then we've got another species or variety, called SH3640. It's a hybrid. It's not quite dwarf, but it's kind of a semi-dwarf. But so we're doing dwarf bananas now. Part of the journey with the farm is learning what works, and so that's what we're doing here. You'll see here. I don't know if you guys follow me on Instagram, you'll be more familiar with all this stuff. But this is an experiment with different types of grasses that we're using for service lines. There's a Napier down the middle. There's Fakahatchee on this side, and there's vetiver on that side. And then back over by the those bananas I was just pointing at, that's the Mombasa grass. That was a fun experiment. If you guys have any questions about that, I can go into that a little bit more. Long story short, we're planting a lot more Mombasa and Napier. Those are the performers. But that gives you a little bit more idea of the context here. We had a big hurricane. We had an old grove that didn't suit my needs as a farmer, and we had flooding that killed off a lot of our low strata crops. So it was a good time to reset. So that was the impetus for that, and I'm really excited to be freshening this place up. Obviously, it's pretty cool that we have the existing bananas and coconuts here. I can't wait till we have mangoes producing in between. One quick thing: if you were me and you had roughly 20 spots for mangoes, what varieties would you guys plant? I know what I'm planting, but I want to hear what you guys think. So comment down below and let me know.